With breaking news out of Darwin, where 3 people have escaped from the Howard Springs COVID quarantine facility. Talia Sava's there for us. Talia, good morning. There's a search underway right now.
Yes, that's right, Davina. Good morning to you. We've been told the trio scaled the fence in the early hours of this morning. Police receiving reports around 4:40 a.m. Now, major police checkpoints have been set up around Howard Springs for the past several hours. As you can see in these pictures, they've been conducting thorough searches in car boots, checking vehicle registrations, cars and buses alike. But in the last half an hour, what we understand is they've actually been dismantled. Exactly why, that hasn't been confirmed. Hopefully good news. We're also not sure yet who these people are connected with, whether it's a repatriation flight or those Aboriginal community members who have been staying here following the Catherine cluster. Davina, what we do know is that this is definitely going to bring this gold standard facility under intense scrutiny. On Sunday, we had a man escape and found on Darwin's party precinct, and this latest situation is only going to put us under the microscope further.
Not good news. OK, Talia, thank you. Let's go to breaking news that's coming out of New South Wales right now. The state has recorded its 6th case of the Omicron variant. Health Minister Brad Hazzard confirmed the news just a short time ago, and Damien Ryan has the details for us out of Sydney. Damo, good morning to you. What more do we know about this case?
Well, Davina, we know he's a man in his 40s who resides in the Cabramatta area. He flew in on that Qatar flight from Doha last Thursday. And we understand he'd spent the last 6 months in Nigeria, so he'd been in southern Africa, caught the flight to Doha and then on to Australia last Thursday. Now, if it is confirmed, and it sounds like it will be, he'll be could have been moving around the community, particularly in Sydney's west and southwest, for 5 or 6 days. Of course, he is the 6th person who was on that flight who travelled from southern Africa to be caught up with this variant. Now, as you mentioned, the Health Minister, Brad Hazzard, made this announcement just a short time ago, and he says there's obvious concerns about just how quickly this virus is able to spread.
Transmissibility of this particular variant, Omicron, is quite high. What we don't know definitively at this point is whether or not it was picked up on the aircraft or picked up in the various periods that people were in those southern African countries.
Now, at midnight, of course, Davina, those new rules, those new harsher rules for penalties and for those people flying back into Australia from anywhere overseas, of course, you now have to self-isolate at home for 72 hours, strictly 72 hours. And that will only end if you, of course, produce a negative test. And then there'll be a further test 3 days later. So 6 days after you arrive, you have to carry out that test. Now, if you do the wrong thing, it used to be $1,000 fine. Well, from midnight last night until the foreseeable future, it will be $5,000. Davina?
It's a huge fine.